Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this month's Tech Tuesday with Out of the Box Technology. This month, we're welcoming our fabulous partners at Sin7 and discussing getting your business out of spreadsheets. Joining us today is Sierra Rogers, Senior Product Manager at Sin7. Sierra has spent over a decade in ERP and inventory management systems. She has a deep appreciation for spreadsheets and advanced mathematics. She strategically employs technology to analyze data, empowering businesses to thrive. She engages clients across diverse industries such as food and beverage, fashion and apparel, cosmetics, machinery, and she enjoys exploring manufacturing workflows while discussing daily IMS utilization. Also joining us today is partner manager from Sin7, Connor Miller. Connor is a dynamic professional with a diverse background in e-commerce, supply chain, and partnership management. As a stakeholder of Shinesty, an innovative clothing company, he played a pivotal role in its inception and growth. Transitioning to Sin7, he served as an implementation specialist, leveraging his expertise to streamline operations and enhance customer experiences for a year. Driven by direct experience with customers and a passion for fostering strategic alliances, Connor moved into the partnership space at Sin7, where he excels as a partner manager. Currently, he holds the responsibility of managing value-added reseller partners within the Sin7 ecosystem in the USA and EMEA. As for me, my name is Jeanette Rotan. I'm Director of Marketing here at Out of the Box Technology. Currently, I manage our digital marketing strategy, including social media, content creation, partnership alignment, and of course, our Tech Tuesday webinar series. I've got 15 plus years of experience in finance and accounting, and in my previous roles, I was COO of a consultancy to the profession, managing their events and tactical implementation of digital strategy. Just a few reminders for today's webinar. This session is being recorded. We will send that recording out to you after the fact so that you can refer back to it, and you don't have to take a ton of notes, so you can engage with us in real time. As well, we've reserved some time at the end, 10 or 15 minutes for Q&A, but if you have a burning question that speaks to something we're currently covering, feel free to chat your questions to us through the Q&A box, and we will attempt to address them in real time. Again, the recorded session will be shared with you as a resource along with the slides after the fact. So feel free to just sit back, dig in, and have a listen. Little bit about Sin7. Sin7 is a connected inventory management solution that helps small to mid-sized companies track all of their inventory data in real time while connecting to all major sales channels such as e-commerce marketplaces, wholesale, and point of sale. Sin7 was built with accounting principles in mind first and is proud of its integrations with QuickBooks and Xero. Sin7 serves customers globally to sell to their customers all over the world. And a little bit about Out of the Box, if you're joining us for the first time or if it's been a while, we manage anything and everything QuickBooks. Our mission is to empower small to medium-sized businesses with all the accounting and bookkeeping needs, services they need. We do everything from bookkeeping and accounting. We do data services, whether that's file cleanup, migrations, and we also do cloud hosting. So understanding the current scenario, I will hand this over to Connor so he can get us started. Connor, you want to dig in here?
Absolutely. Jeanette, thank you very much for the introduction. For all of you in attendance, very, very excited to be here to talk about the scenario today, which is understanding how to transition out of spreadsheets and into a professional SaaS tool for both inventory and finances. When it's time to do that, and then what does that process look like? So just to talk about the scenario, we very, very commonly see customers who will come to us and they say, hey, we're still in spreadsheets. We need a more dialed in tool. Here's why. And those customers typically fall into a few categories. First category is a new company started up, overhead's tight, and they decided to start their inventory tracking in spreadsheets because the tool is free. You can share it across your teams. There appears to be good visibility. And it does work at first. But then they might have their first really big Q4 where their sales increase 300%. They survive through the holidays. Come January, they're having an internal sync about how the holidays went. And while sales were great, we don't know anymore how much inventory we have, where it is, what it costs, etc. And it creates a lot of problems. Another bucket is a customer who might be they've had a successful company for 1 to 3 years, but they are looking now to extend into other sales channels. So while they know the inventory they have trouble actually pushing that to sales channels to drive revenue. The third main bucket is when a company decides to diversify their supply chain. So they're no longer selling 100 SKUs with 1 or 2 suppliers. We're now hitting 500, 1,000, 1,500 SKUs. We have multiple suppliers in different regions, and tracking all those POs from a placement perspective and a receiving perspective is a lot of work. A lot of emails, a lot of updates, and information gets lost. So that's what we're talking about today. And I'm going to hand it over to Sierra now to talk about when it's really time to make the transition. So go ahead, Sierra.
Awesome. Thanks so much for the intro to the topic, both Jeanette and Connor. I really appreciate that. And now that we understand the potential challenges that you might be facing with your business as you're growing, let's talk about, how do you know when is that time to make that next step? When is the time to take that leap into using a more connected system? And first and foremost here, I've got sales channels, and I've got a question for this one. So there's going to be a poll that can pop up here in a moment, and it's going to ask how many different sales channels are you currently using for your business. So this could be things like you're just using oh, that might be the spreadsheets question. Sorry about that. But the sales order question or sales channel is, how are you accepting sales orders? Is it just phone and email? Are you also doing an e-commerce like a Shopify or WooCommerce or BigCommerce? Is it a marketplace like Amazon or Walmart? Things like that. So like, how many different channels are you accepting orders from? So I've got a big question around that. I'll come back to talking about how you can use that number of sales channels to determine if it's time for you. The next point here is forecasting with supply and demand. So as a business owner, you're probably very familiar with the idea or the concept of supply and demand. And Sin 7, we consider your demand your sales orders, right? So the orders that are coming in demanding your products. And the supply is really, how are you supplying those orders? Are you making them? So you're doing manufacturing or some kind of, you're producing something. Is it you're transferring products from different locations so that you can fulfill those orders? Maybe you're just ordering them directly from your supplier or vendor and you're shipping them. Maybe you're doing drop shipping, whatever that case might be. But at some point, you're going to need a connected system that really knows all of those orders that are coming in and help you determine how to fill all of those orders, how to supply your demand, right? Now, at some point, that is going to be, you're acting in kind of a reactive mode. You're reacting to your orders to fulfill them. At some point, you're going to want to start moving into a proactive mode and forecasting how much you should have on your shelves to grow with your increase in sales, right? So at some point, you're going to be interested in, how do I forecast? And that's a really good indicator to know that now's the time to look into a more connected system. Another major step when thinking about inventory is extending your fulfillment. Now, this could be adding more people on your pick, pack, and ship line, like having more people on actually filling those boxes and putting labels on it. Or it could be you're looking at utilizing a 3PL, a third-party logistics handler who will handle all the pick, pack, and ship because they've got your products there for you. That is another big step when you're communicating with so many teams and so many more people to look at a connected system. And then finally, here's EDI. EDI is electronic data interchange. Now, this is a much older technology. It actually came out in the 1960s, and it was for U.S. transportation folks to really communicate in a standardized way about movement and orders. Now, big box trading merchants like Home Depot and Lowe's and Costco, Walmart, Target, big box stores, they really like to use EDI because it's a nice standardized way to place those orders, which is great. But it's a really complicated older technology. So if you need to use EDI to communicate with your merchants, it's time to use a connected system. All right, let me go back to that initial question about the sales channels. Like how many different sales channels? And it honestly, it looks like it's about a 50-50 split for folks who are attending today. So we've got a handful of folks who are only using one sales channel, which is fantastic. That's, you know, the start of your business, right? And some folks who are growing, they've got 2 or more sales channels. Now, that may have been a little bit of a leading question because the answer here is once you move to that second sales channel, that's when you need to start looking at a connected system. I might use this analogy more than once today, but it's kind of like going from 1 kid to 2 kids. No 2 kids are alike. No Amazon and Walmart are alike, right? So you have to think about the unique needs and back to the sales channel, you have to think about the unique audience and the purpose for those different sales channels. So once you grow to 2 or more sales channels, it's a really great time to look at a connected system. Now, when I say connected system, I'm talking that inventory point, and I'm going to hand it over to Jeanette to speak about the financial side of things.
Yes, thanks, Sierra. So when is it time to get your business out of spreadsheets in terms of your finances? Well, the answer is here on the slide, really. It's always time. As soon as you start your business, you really want to get into a financial management system. Why? Well, take a look at this slide because your cash flow is the lifeblood of your business and everything connects to that. You need to be tracking, of course, the cost of goods sold. You need to be tracking your payroll and how much your talent costs. You need, of course, to be tracking your AP, spend management, expenses, AR, invoice processing, and of course, an ERP or front-end management system. Just a quick fact here, the average small business owner spends 21 hours a week on accounting tasks. And you know, that's a huge chunk of time. That's half your week that could be spent on your business instead of in your business. You could be using that time, of course, to grow your client base, to service your clients and customers. And that's vitally important, of course. So other factors that influence when you should be looking at a financial management systems, as you grow and scale, the volume of transactions you have obviously is going to grow and scale. And that's going to increase the complexity and volume of data that you have, which then in turn increases the risk of errors in manual data entry. Then you've got the issue of difficulty collaborating across documents and across spreadsheets. You've got version control issues, who's in each spreadsheet when, and you know, what's the latest up-to-date copy. And then of course, you've got a lack of integration with other systems, as Sierra was talking about. Your reporting needs are going to become more complex as you scale. You're going to have to break down, you know, costs of goods sold for each vertical, for each item that you're selling. Your tech stack is going to continue to grow as you scale. So those tight integrations become more and more important, which is why we specialize here in Out of the Box at QuickBooks, because they've got an open API system, which really opens up your options in terms of integrations. Another thing that's going to influence your financial management systems and your operations is sales tax. You know, if you're selling goods across state lines or across countries, you're going to come into sales tax and VAT compliance. And this becomes vital because that compliance can become very costly. I think I read something along the lines of The average sales tax compliance lawsuit costs along the lines of $350,000. The average penalty is $56,000. And of course, that's a huge chunk of change for any small business. So moving on, the benefits of using an inventory management system and accounting platform. I'm going to hand this one off to Sierra so she can talk a little bit about the IMS benefits.
Yeah, absolutely. Like first and foremost, those numbers are just blowing my mind, right? So if folks are thinking about that, we've got some more numbers here soon, but yeah, that's just mind blowing. Okay, so now that we've understand kind of, we've gone over the indicators of when it's time to start looking into a system, maybe now you're like, okay, I'm one of those people. It's time for me to look into a system. So let's start thinking about what are the benefits of using it? Like what could be the thing to get you kind of over the fence on it? First and foremost, for me at least, is that enhanced visibility into everything that Jeanette just spoke about, looking into your COGS, looking into your inventory, all of that is first and foremost. So actually, I want to start, you can use, I think it's called reactions. It's at the bottom of your screen. Just raise your hand if you know the actual value, the exact value of your inventory down to the dollar. I'm just going to take a sip of water real quick. Yeah, I'm not expecting a lot of hands, and that's totally normal. That's totally okay. Because for most businesses, they don't actually know that. They might have to log into a couple of different systems and do a couple of different reports to be able to pull that up. And that's really unfortunate. But by using a connected system, having your inventory and your accounting together, you can actually run that and you can have that insight, enhanced visibility just with a click of a button. But the same thing should go for things like your stock movements. You should know where your inventory is, what the levels are, if it's moving from place to place. All of that should be at the tips of your fingers. You shouldn't have to go through 40 different tabs in different spreadsheets to be able to find that information, right? And Jeanette, I think you have a couple additional points for visibility as well.
Yes, absolutely. So as I was talking about accounting being the lifeblood of your business, that's really also where all of your strategic decision making is going to come from. That increased visibility that you gain through these integrated systems, the IMS and the FMS should really be driving those decisions. And the only way you're going to get accurate data is if you have visibility across platforms with accurate information. So the benefits of using a financial management system, it's going to reduce the need for redundant manual data entry. It's going to increase the accuracy of your information. You have the ability to automate processes with whether that's following up on POs, AP, AR. You're going to gain the ability to project your cash flow, which is huge and going to inform your strategic decision making. And you'll also have enhanced insights. So all of those things are just huge benefits when you want to grow your business.
Right. And speaking of growing, scalability follows that right along with it. So like I was saying earlier with scalability, if we can go back to the last slide, it isn't just one for one, right? If you double your sales channels, for example, from 2 to 4, it's actually compounding how difficult it is to manage all of that. Remember my analogy with the kids, for like going from 1 kid to 2 kids. It's not just adding a second plate at dinner time. You have to think about the allergies and the food preferences and the restrictions. Like you have to think about all the different things that adding those additional sales channels could involve. Maybe it's not adding sales channels. Maybe it's another inventory location, like another warehouse or another franchise, or adding more employees. So as you grow, the complexity of running your business, it's going to get more complex, but trust me, the benefits are worth it for sure. But having a system in place that can handle all those repetitive manual tasks, like Jeanette was just speaking about, using integrations, using automations, that's going to free up a lot of your time. What was it, like 20 hours a week? Oh my goodness, it's going to free up a lot of your time so that you can focus on the complex business problems so that you can continue to thrive. With the errors and the risks, Jeanette, absolutely right. Humans, make mistakes. That's just human nature, right? But when it comes to your business, I'm sure you want to reduce the number of mistakes as much as possible. And that means that you need to get rid of those manual tasks, get rid of, like entering things manually by using things like integrations and automations, like we were just talking about. And one of those mistakes could be things like overstock, or maybe it's dead stock, or it's not having enough stock. So you have a stock out. This is a super hot topic right now, especially after the holiday season, because people bought a ton of stock with anticipation of high orders, but now they're left with things sitting on the shelf. I read a stat the other day that said businesses are left with roughly 33% of extra overstock after the holidays because it didn't sell. That's a third of your stuff is just overstock. Again, mind blowing, right? So, in an upcoming slide, we'll talk a little bit more about how costly some of these mistakes can be. But for now, I'll hand it back to Jeanette to speak about the efficiency.
Yes, so when you have a financial management system, this is a little bit redundant. We kind of already covered this a little bit. But it's going to eliminate that need for manual data entry, entering invoices several times in several different ways, following up with vendors, following up with customers. You're going to be able to track things more accurately. And of course, as we mentioned, we're going to be able to automate a lot of those processes, which again, just eliminates the need for more data entry and manual work on your end. By the numbers. So we just wanted to share with you a few more statistics about the benefits of an IMS and an FMS. On average, businesses can lose about 25% of profits due to excess inventory costs. That's a huge number. Excess inventory can tie up 20 to 40% of revenue for businesses, hampering cash flow and hindering your growth prospects. Studies show a return of $4 or more for every dollar invested in advanced inventory management. That's huge. When you're doing a cost comparison here of spreadsheets versus an IMS, really hands down, it's an invaluable investment. And 80% of small businesses that do not utilize a financial management system like QuickBooks or Xero are said to fail within the first year. So I think, that points to a real need for the success of your business to begin, gathering all of this data in one central place where it can be linked up to your inventory, to your AP, to your payroll, to your front end or ERP system. It's huge. It's really, really huge for the health of your business. So I will hand it back to Sierra, who's going to talk about selecting the right SaaS tool.
Right. Thanks, Jeanette. So of all the customers I've spoken to over the years, no one has ever said to me, I want to fail. I want to shrink. I want to, downsize. Everyone wants to grow. Everyone wants to thrive. And that's fantastic. But choosing the right tool is has a huge impact in that ability to thrive. So everything I'm about to say is, at least for my part, is system agnostic. I want you to choose the right system for you and your business. But whatever system you select in terms of inventory management, it's got to have these 4 key features and functionality. First, it's PIM. It's Product Information Management. Now, you should have all of your product info in one place, and it's more than just your SKU and the product name, but it's things like the size and the weight, so your shipping can just be automatic, right? It's the suppliers that you buy your products from, how much those products cost from your suppliers. All of these different pieces of information about your product should all be in one place. And then moving on to accurate inventory. Okay, so now we know more about our products, but what about the how many of these products do I have on the shelf? We at Cint7 like to say that accounting principles were at the heart and the base of us building this system. But of course, we're an inventory management system, so accurate inventory is absolutely crucial. You need to know how much of your stock that you have, where it's at, maybe if you have some on order, all of that should be easily traced. And speaking of tracing, you may have batches or you may have serial numbers that you need to track for things like warranties. All of that needs to connect back to your products, back to your sales orders, all in one system. Now, whenever I talk about order management, typically people are thinking, oh, sales orders, like those sales channels. But as you grow, don't forget to think about your procurement orders, your purchase orders from your suppliers, right? You need to be able to manage, like, am I going to have enough stock? When does my supplier drop off, my purchase order, the what I bought from them? Will it be in time to fill those orders? Juggling all of those different orders is a big deal. And like I said, maybe you're growing and you're adding another warehouse, so you're transferring products between warehouses, or a brick and mortar store. All of those different orders, that's a lot to juggle. So selecting the right tool that manages this all easily for you is crucial. Now, all of that is a lot of data, and I love spreadsheets. I love pivot tables. I could live in spreadsheets, but I don't want to dream in spreadsheets, right? I want a system that's going to be able to, I put in a few check boxes or a few drop downs, and it just runs the report for me, and it just tells me the information I need to know. You shouldn't have to spend 20 hours in these spreadsheets a week. You should be able to just run a report and then go to a meeting and talk about the results of the report so you can make those business decisions. Now, speaking of your business growing and being flexible and meeting you where you're at, I'm going to hand it over to Connor, who's going to talk about scalability and flexibility.
Yeah, thanks, Sierra. Great points all around. And predominantly, Sierra was referring to functionality for your business today. What I want to talk about is, okay, is this tool going to be a good fit for you 6 months, 12 months, 18 months from now? And what I typically see, um, what I see that omits individuals from certain platforms predominantly is, will they connect to a future sales channel that's within their growth plan? So if you are looking to get into an additional WooCommerce instance or Shopify or Amazon, Wayfair, and you see that on your roadmap within a year, even two, but the tool you're looking at doesn't connect to that sales channel, I would run from that tool. If you have 5 or 6 sales channels and only 4 of them are actually connected and you're relying on manually updating that one extra sales channel yourself, 9 times out of 10, you are still going to have dirty data because we're human, we make mistakes. The whole point of the IMS tool is accurate data, so we want as little as human intervention as possible. Outside of sales channels, another feature I see that typically moves people out of a tool is we do want to do our own manufacturing one day. So whether that be full scale in-house multi-tier advanced manufacturing, or even simple BOMs kits, assemblies, external contract manufacturing, if that's on your roadmap, then make sure you're choosing an IMS tool that's going to support that functionality. Most companies don't start out with that on their roadmap, but it quickly becomes a part of their daily operations purely for a product margin perspective. And while implementing a IMS it's not too intimidating. It's not something you want to do every year, truly. You want to implement it once correctly and then grow with the tool. Pricing and budget also is very important. And when it comes to pricing, the IMS tool is designed to alleviate operational errors that cost quite a bit of money. So depending on your average order value, one oversold could be $100. 2, 3 oversolds. Now we're looking at $300 or $400 and potentially a few lost customers, which depending on the life cycle of your customer could be thousands of dollars. So my advice for pricing and budget is, while budgets do exist for a reason, don't get too pigeonholed into looking at solution A or B over a couple $100 a month. It will pay off in spades if that tool is the correct fit for you. And outside of pricing, scalability, we really want to look at customer support and training. So the tool is very, very expensive, but to the degree that you know how to use it. And also, in the event it does break, you're going to want a team to hop on to fix whatever issues you have. I would argue that support and training is equally as important as the tool itself. So once you have decided, okay, I think Sin7 and or another SaaS tool is what is best for my business, you then really want to start thinking about implementation and what that looks like. So we here at Sin7, oh, we do have another fun metric here. So we ran a test internally and we surveyed 33 prospective customers. We said, hey, out of the stock that you do have on hand, how much of it's overstock? And out of all the recipients, the average was that 75% of the stock in their warehouse was indeed overstock. And out of that 75%, half of it was dead. So even making one informed purchasing decision on a PO based on the data you have on hand would also offset the cost of this tool. So these tools are very much designed and do save you money. So if you have determined that hey, I'm in spreadsheets, I have a few sales channels, I don't know my COGS, I want to push something to Amazon, but I can't. I want a tool, and Sin7 is your tool. I want to walk you through how Sin7, how we can help. So first and foremost, we are going to put you in a product that fits your specific business needs. If Sin7 doesn't check the boxes that we need it to check, then there are other tools that we will point you towards. Having you sign up for our product and then to more within 6 months is not a positive experience for anyone. Not for you, not for us. We want to put you in a tool that works. And if you do use Sin7, you're going to know how much inventory you have, where it is, what it costs, how fast is it selling, when do I need to reorder, and you'll have the flexibility to push those levels to whatever sales channel is in your growth plan. So once you've decided on Sin7, we are going to offer an onboarding solution that's tailored to your specific account. And I'm going to start with our internal offerings. So with our internal onboarding team, we have an Accelerate package. And the Accelerate package is $800. It's 4 weeks, twice a week for an hour. We position it as an expert-led but self-guided onboarding. So there is a good amount of lift on your end. Think of it like going to school for a month. You go in, you chew on the homework from the session before, and with each session, your system itself gets a little bit more configured, but you're very much a student in a classroom setting, and you are wiring up your own instance with the help of a teacher. If you have any advanced manufacturing, we won't push you this route. No 3PL or EDI. And also with the Accelerate package, we will not set up the QBO 0 or accounting instance. So if you need a little more hand-holding and still want to use our internal team, we go from the Accelerate package to our Focused package. And our Focused package is $2,000. And it includes everything in the Accelerate except it's not a class-based setting, it's one-on-one. So you're getting that one-on-one attention. There's going to be some data migration support. They will help you implement your accounting integration, and they will assist with 2 external integrations. So if you have a Shopify and an Amazon, they'll help wire those up. Again, no advanced manufacturing, no 3PL or EDI. And if you finish either the Accelerate or Focus package, you'll have go live support for 2 weeks before your transition to our internal support team. So both of these packages are great for a specific audience. When we transition away from our internal offerings and we start leaning on our partner offerings, those do look a little bit different. So with our partner offerings, the standard partner onboarding starts at about $5,000. And you do have a dedicated project manager who has completed at this rate 100 plus implementations of Sin7 Core. And this is what they do for a living. The partner themselves, they'll have a specific sort of onboarding process and methodology. So it's hard for me to cookie cutter say, hey, here are going to be the steps ABC, because there is a little bit of art to it and personality involved. And you're going to see that with whomever partner you might be paired with. The partner will truly, they're going to hold your hand through the entire process. They'll train your staff. Post-implementation, they will offer ongoing support packages. Advantage of an ongoing support package with a partner is that partner just implemented your entire instance. So if you come to them and you're asking, hey, I've got a bug at pack station D when I print off a FedEx label, I'm getting a 404 error, rather than having to go through a few support back and forth with our internal team for them to get up to speed with your account, this partner already knows exactly what you're talking about. So that's a massive advantage. And they can handle all integrations. They can hold, they'll support a 3PL connection, EDI, advanced manufacturing. If you want to connect to a system that has an open API, our partners have API dev contacts within their network. So they will truly they'll truly lead the process A to Z. And one tier up from our standard partner onboarding, I'll call our white glove partner onboarding. And it's everything that I just said, but with a little bit of a twist. They are very much going to take a consultative approach to your business and your implementation. So they might not actually begin implementation for a week, 2 weeks. They're going to dig into your workflows. Hey, why are you doing it that way? They're going to bring a ton of actual industry knowledge to your business and say, here's what we've seen happen with other clients. You might want to consider XYZ. So with our white glove partner onboarding, you're truly paying for a consultant who is in tandem implementing your system. Some people love this approach. Other people say, hey, listen, I know what I'm doing. We're chugging right along. I just need the system to work for me today. And we like our workflows. Let's get it plugged in and running. So those are our 4 tiers of partner onboarding, and that's what Send7 can do for you from an inventory perspective. I'm going to pass it over to Jeanette now to talk about out of the box and what they bring to the table.
Thanks, Connor. So as I was saying earlier, our real value proposition to small business owners is that we know the financial management system space, specifically QuickBooks, inside and out. We have deep industry expertise in most industries, whether you're in the trades, contracting, construction, HVAC, electric, or you're in franchising, food and beverage, retail, e-commerce. We are an Intuit QuickBooks solution provider at the elite level. We can grant you ongoing discounts to most of the software that we would recommend for you. We can help you build your tech stack end to end, which is why we partner with Send7. You have access to QuickBooks experts. Again, as I was saying, an understanding of your industry. We can, quickly understand your pain points from an accounting perspective and help to get them resolved. And as Connor was saying with Send7, we offer individualized training support and ongoing accounting services. With that, I think we've wrapped up our presentation about getting your business out of spreadsheets. Just want to open up to the floor for any questions that any of the attendees have. Currently, we don't have any, so I'll just give people a few minutes to chew on some stuff, enter some things. Connor and Sierra, just want to thank you again for a great presentation and for partnering with Out of the Box. It's been fabulous. I'm not seeing any questions come through, but in the event that you do have any questions about inventory management, about a financial management system, we want to offer ourselves as a resource, both Out of the Box and Send7. I've put our contact information up there. We offer a free bookkeeping assessment if you want someone to just review your books, review the processes that you've got going on, your tech stack, just chat with you about where you are in your business life cycle. We're happy to do that. Just reach out to us at hello@outoftheboxtechnology.com, and we're happy to chat with you and give you some pointers about how you can grow your business. Again, before I close up, if there aren't any questions, we'll be sharing the slides, we'll be sharing the recording with you later. So you'll have all of this information that you can refer back to. Again, I want to thank Connor and Sierra for a great session and for partnering with Out of the Box Technology. And thanks to everyone for attending.
Thank you, Jeanette.
Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks. Bye.